Have you ever stopped to think about what your daily chores actually say about you, or even about the city you live in? It turns out that all those little tasks, cleaning, doing the laundry, taking out the trash, they can reveal this hidden logic about our culture, our architecture, and the invisible forces that shape our modern lives. All right, let's get into it.
So let's start with that very question. We're going to take something that seems super simple, doing the laundry, and use it as a window into the complex, hyper-optimized world of the Chinese urban home. And trust me, the answers are way more fascinating than you might think.
So to really understand this hidden logic, we're going to take a little journey through the home, starting right at the front door. We'll look at the entryway, then the balcony, see how climate changes literally everything, meet the digital helpers of the so-called lazy economy, and finally, we'll tackle the brand new rules of taking out the trash.
Our journey begins right where the public world smacks up against the private one, the entryway. Now, in a Chinese home, this is way more than just a place to drop your keys. It's a crucial zone with some really deep cultural meaning. This space is called the Xuanguan, and the philosophy behind it is simple but super strict. The outside world is considered dirty, and the inside of the home is a clean, private sanctuary. So the Xuanguan acts as this essential buffer that keeps that separation. You could almost think of it as the first line of defense for hygiene and order in the home.
And the Shuangguan is a total workhorse. It's impressively multifunctional. Think of it as a psychological airlock, right? A place to mentally switch gears and shed the stress of the day. It's also a physical barrier where outdoor shoes come off and indoor slippers go on. And in today's super compact apartments, it's become a space magician with these clever floor-to-ceiling cabinets that pack in storage for shoes, coats, and all the other clutter, keeping that entrance perfectly tidy.
Okay, so let's move on to probably one of the most visible chores in any Chinese city: laundry. Yeah, far from being hidden away, it's often this very public, really colorful spectacle that kind of paints the faces of skyscrapers.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? In a world of concrete and steel, the sight of clothes and bed sheets drying in the sun, it's a sign of life. It's this public display of domesticity, of resourcefulness, and maybe even a little bit of personal expression against the massive, anonymous backdrop of a high-rise city.
And this display looks totally different depending on the city. So in hyper-dense Hong Kong, where having a balcony is a real luxury, you'll see laundry hanging from poles sticking out of windows, strung across communal rooftops, or even on these makeshift bamboo racks down in the alleyways. But then you go to Shanghai, and you see the famous United Nations racks, these long steel poles that stick out from enclosed balconies, just covered in a vibrant flag-like display of clothes.
So the obvious question is, why not just use a dryer? Well, it's because of this powerful cultural belief in the sterilizing power of the sun. The sun's UV rays are seen as the ultimate natural disinfectant, and getting that fresh, sun-kissed smell on your clothes is the real goal. This is why tumble dryers are still incredibly rare, even in brand new high-end apartments. Air drying isn't just a backup plan, for sure, it's the preferred method.
Okay, so let's add another massive factor into this whole equation: climate. There's this invisible line called the Qinling-Huaihei line that splits China into two totally distinct climate zones. And this creates radically different experiences at home, especially in the winter.
Life north of this line is all about state-subsidized central heating. Indoors, it's toasty warm, and people just wear light, comfortable clothes. But in the south, in big cities like Shanghai, there is no central heating. Homes can actually be colder inside than it is outside. This has led to this unique pajama culture, where people wear these thick, padded indoor clothes all day long just to fight off the damp, bone-chilling cold. And you can imagine, drying laundry in that humid chill is a battle that can take days.
And this isn't just a quirk of geography. This divide is literally written into policy. The North gets 4 months of subsidized central heating, which keeps temperatures at a comfy 18 degrees Celsius or higher. The South, meanwhile, has to rely on expensive, individual solutions like running the AC or using electric radiators. So while people in the North might complain about dry air and stiff towels, Southerners talk about a clammy, penetrating cold that's almost impossible to escape.
So, with all these domestic challenges, from the damp cold of the South to just the sheer demands of modern urban life, who's actually doing all this work? Well, while housework is still very much a gendered issue, technology has introduced a powerful new player: the on-demand domestic worker, or IE, who you can book instantly through a super app. And this is where we see the second shift in stark reality.
In a society where dual-income families are the norm, the data shows that married women in China spend on average 2.9 hours a day on housework. That's nearly double the 1.5 hours their husbands put in. This huge time crunch, which is especially felt by the rising middle class, is exactly what created the perfect market for the lazy economy.
And the whole process is just incredibly easy. You just open up a super app, you select the exact service you need, anything from a standard 2-hour clean to someone who will come and cook a meal for you. You pick a time slot that works, and boom, a trained professional IE shows up at your door. It's the ultimate convenience for trying to manage a busy city life.
But this isn't just a story about convenience for the customer. It's also a story of economic empowerment. Many domestic workers, who are often women from rural areas, can earn between 5,000 and 8,000 yuan a month. I mean, that's sometimes more than a recent university graduate makes. For many, this work has become a real pathway to upward mobility, allowing them to buy property in the city and pay for their kids' education.
All right, let's move to our final routine. And this one has been completely transformed not by culture or tech, but by government policy. Back in 2019, Shanghai rolled out a mandatory waste sorting program that basically turned a mundane chore into a highly structured civic duty.
And the scale of this operation is just staggering. Every single day, citizens are required to meticulously sort thousands and thousands of tons of waste into 4 very specific categories: wet, dry, recyclable, and hazardous. It's a massive, top-down effort that has fundamentally rewired the daily routine for over 25 million people.
So, after our little journey through the Chinese urban home, what is this hidden logic we've uncovered? What does it all really mean when you put it together?
Well, we've seen that the home is this intensely optimized space, designed to squeeze every last bit of hygiene, storage, and efficiency out of it. We've learned that daily routines aren't just personal habits. They're shaped by these huge external forces, like climate, deep-seated cultural beliefs, and sweeping government policy. We also saw that technology's biggest impact isn't some robot vacuum, but the service platforms that are creating whole new economies. And ultimately, these everyday chores tell a powerful story of human adaptation in the face of incredibly rapid change.
So the Chinese home isn't just a place to live. It's a highly tuned system, one that's constantly adapting to density, to climate, and to technology. And as our own cities all over the world become more crowded and our lives more complex, you have to wonder, what lessons can we take from these highly structured, resourceful, and optimized ways of living? It's a question worth thinking about the next time you take out the trash.